Or it could be silence. If you sat there and did nothing, that'd be dishonour. Okay, you'd be in...
the implications of being dishonoured or in a dishonouring situation could be quite...
Very bad.
Assumed guilty.
Yeah, this is not a position you want to be in, okay? You don't want to be dishonouring, you don't want to be silence. Because silence is tacit agreement. Okay, silence is agreement in law. It's an assumption, yes, but silence is agreement.
So is there any other... I'm just trying to see what other... Well, I've never been in this situation, so I don't know.
Sure.
I've only seen it on TV, but if
that's what
somebody did not stand up,
yeah.
and when they were asked the question to identify themselves, if they spoke, not remained silent, spoke, but challenged the court system there and then, and could come up with enough arguments to sort of be meaningful, to challenge what the judge was saying, and because of an understanding of what you're actually trying to relay to us at the moment, looking at the bigger picture in that, and defending themselves, well, no doubt any sort of resistance from people would also be taken into account by laws or whatever.
Sure.
And the judge would have some sort of recourse of action. But I mean, what sort of situations could an individual resort to actually directly challenge exactly what you're saying?
All right. Well, I'll go into that exactly.
Into the trap of actually being part of the system.
No, because it is a trap. Those two things, silence and agreement. Silence and argument. Okay, are the two tools that he will use to try and get your jurisdiction.
What I'm trying to say is, can you put where you've got to now in the discussion and everything is great. It's all in theory though. Could you give us practical examples of how this is actually expressed?
Sure. Ask me my name.
Agent J, what's your name?
Your Honour, I shall give you my name upon proof of claim that you have established jurisdiction over the matter pending.
Good, okay.
Or, I shall give you my name upon proof of claim that there is a controversy before the court.
Right, that would be really throwing it back in the face of the judge.
Sure,
yes.
It's the hot potato thing. He's thrown the hot potato at you, and you just pass it on back to him. Because at that point he doesn't have jurisdiction, right?
And so, what you just said then, what does it actually mean in layman's terms?
What that means is that I will do what he's asking me to do, because you have to do what the court asks you to do, because you're in Alice in Wonderland. Okay, so you have to do something. You can't be silent, and you can't argue. So you're left with conditional acceptance, which is your remedy. It's your private remedy, right? And so you do what he's asking you to do, or you give him something that he's asking, but on your terms. So, if you ask me to stand up, okay, please stand, I would say to the judge, I shall stand, Your Honour. However, I do not waive any common law rights, nor do I grant in personam jurisdiction. And then I stand up.
Right, very good.
So I have done what he's asked me to do without doing without getting into trouble,
but
basically.
Not unconditionally.
Yeah, there's always a condition.
Respond to the judge, but you put your own conditions.
Exactly, it's conditional acceptance. Now, the judge might say to me, he might be getting a little bit aggravated by now, he might not even understand, he probably does. But he might take his little piece of paper out and wave it up and say, what's all this about? Okay, now what would you do then? Do you say, well, okay, well, I don't know, it just looks like, a piece of paper and there's some charges. Well, if you did that, you'd be answering his question, and he's got you. Okay, he's got jurisdiction, and then it's game over again. So, at every turn in the road, there is an answer, and you only have to listen to what the judge is saying, because everything that the judge is saying is an offer. So you could say to the judge, I accept your offer to assume jurisdiction, Your Honour, upon proof of claim that you have established jurisdiction over the matter pending. Or, if he's asking you, what's this piece of paper about? There are a myriad of them. I could go into, a great many of these rebuttals.
So you could actually challenge the judge to verify that the judge is in a position to even be challenging you
Sure.
in a court of law.
Sure, sure.
And play that game.
Yeah, I mean, he could say, well...
Does that not just delay inevitable results from this sort of interaction where you just end up really pissing off the judge?
Well, you can't
Not
piss him
really-
off, really. I mean, he's trying to get jurisdiction over you, and if he doesn't get jurisdiction over you, that's it. The court case is over with. Now, what we're going to have a look at in a second is actually preempting that with paperwork, which is what I do. I don't go to court either. I preempt it with good paperwork. So when you get your presentment in the mail, I either send it back as incorrectly addressed mail fraud, return to sender, or if I decide to open it, perhaps as the agent for the all capital letter League of Fiction, I will actually write a letter and take it in and take it into the register of the court. Okay, with my 2 lines. I accept your negotiable instrument for value and consideration upon proof of claim. It's a 1 line. Okay, because at that moment in time, that presentment is nothing more than hearsay. It's all hearsay. Okay, a lawyer is an actor. A lawyer is a third-party intervener into a private agreement, usually, right? But they're a third party. They have no knowledge of what happened, and so they rely on hearsay. They rely on argument. They rely on controversy. And until there's controversy, a judge can't step in and adjudicate. So you have to stay out of controversy. Okay, you can't create an argument, because as soon as you create an argument, somebody can come in and adjudicate over that. Yeah.
Can we just do a little backtrack and just look at the common law?
Yeah.
Because that's like the basis of like our natural rights, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That is the underlying, and there's also other corporate legality that's been layered on top.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a layered building, okay? And literally what happens, you know, when you go up in that law structure away from common law, which is ground level common law, those are your inalienable rights that nobody can take away or change or do anything about. They're what they call your God-given natural rights. You were just born with those. You know, you have the right to journey on the common ways of the land in your private automobile, uninterrupted, unrestricted, unmolested. Bang, that's it, over. No one has the right to come in and step in and say, pull over, I'm going to give you a fine, you were speeding, why weren't you wearing your seatbelt? Unless you're an entity, right? And if you're an entity, forget your rights. You know, you don't have any, because you've got the rights that they've given you, which has nothing to do with common law. Okay, that's probably the next tier. So when you go into court, the court steps up. Okay, you've got the higher court. You know, you've got the low court, you've got the high court, Supreme Court. Every time you go up and up and up, you get further and further away from common law, and they can't hear you anymore. Okay, so you can't bring common law into the Supreme Court. You know, where's my rights? You know, I'm challenging. You know, where's the Constitution? And you'll hear judges say, you know, he'll bang his little gavel down and say, you know, if I hear any more about the Constitution in here, you know, I'll hold you in contempt, because you can't bring the Constitution into this, you know, upper echelon of law, because it doesn't exist. This is completely fictitious corporate law up here, you know, and it is the furthest thing away from natural common law remedy that you can get. Okay, so we've all got to stay in our natural, I guess, our natural remedies down here. Okay, so we don't go to court. Well, I don't anyway. I don't go because my paperwork is good enough to preempt or basically challenge them, because they still don't have any jurisdiction. They don't have jurisdiction. They don't have proof of claim. Could you prove that I was here tonight? If I was to punch you right now, would you have proof? What would be the proof of